What's going on? Welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to talk to you about Opendoor. I want to go over some expectations for this upcoming week, what might cause volatility in the stock price, and go over everything else you need to know. But first, make sure to hit that thumbs up, and with that, let's get right to it. So starting off with macro data, we don't really have that much coming out on Monday, so hopefully a lot of that positive momentum that was starting to build on Friday does roll over into Monday. Tuesday we have GDP. So that's coming out at 7:30, so right before the bell. Previous came in at 3.8. Forecast right now is 3.2. So that's going to be a very big market mover and pretty much the big data point for the whole week. On Wednesday, we do have initial jobs claims. Market does close at 1 o'clock, and that's because of December 25th being Christmas. So Merry Christmas to all. So the 25th, the market is closed, and it does resume back on the 26th, but there's not really much coming out for data on the 26th. So usually it is more of a quiet day. So institutions kind of carry forward and don't really kind of do much trading. Same with retail. So on the 24th as well as the 26th, don't be surprised if we see some very, very low volume. Aside from that, no real companies putting out earnings and nothing really planned associated to Opendoor. So no fireside chats, no interviews, but then again, that's kind of normal. So this week is more of a write-off kind of essentially. So let me know your viewpoint on that. But there was one thing that kind of came out recently that I wanted to kind of just mention, and it was posted by 𝗪𝗧𝗛. So he just said, as of today, Opendoor's fastest growing product, Cash Plus, is available in 21,000 additional zip codes in the US. And by the end of the year, so pretty much in 1 week, almost a week and a half, there's going to be an additional 5,600 zip codes. So there's definitely a lot of good things happening behind the scenes, and clearly even popping over to his social media, there looks like they're going to be expanding in Miami right here. If you're a highly technical founder looking for the next challenge, we have an amazing opportunity. Come work directly with the COO. So good stuff. I've never actually seen a CEO really go to social media as much as he does to actually look for skilled labor. And he just says, DM me. So I can only imagine how crazy his DMs look. But nonetheless, definitely good stuff. And I think 𝗪𝗧𝗛 is going to be that very good catalyst that really is able to push Opendoor to kind of the next level over the foreseeable future. And most likely their upcoming earnings, which haven't been announced yet, the date, but that is going to be a massive kind of big deal for Opendoor to really propel it to the next leg higher and hopefully really just bring more awareness to Wall Street. So let me know your general thoughts on that in the comments below. But aside from that though, shorts. So going into this upcoming week, 14.37% of the free float is being shorted, works out to be 112.41 million shares overall are being shorted. On Friday, shorts did increase 525,000 shares. And as I kind of mentioned in my last couple of videos, there is some sketchiness happening behind the scenes. So some signs of naked shorting, because the shares on loan being 87.1 million, number of shares being shorted 112. So you should never have more shares being shorted than on loan. And actually, since last time I brought this up, things have actually magnified. So it's kind of interesting. I'd be curious to see what the SEC, if anything, if they're going to do anything. But let me know your viewpoint. So going into this upcoming week, 14.37%. So shorts have actually not really done too much over the last week. So they've gone kind of radio silent. From the bull standpoint, you see a consensus for it to be kind of around that 650 to 7 for the end of the week. And then the bears are anticipating for it to be pretty much sub 6. So definitely there's a little bit more upside, but still, it kind of goes to show that it could go either way. For those of you that are kind of new to the channel, I like to go over where volume comes from, bring up abnormal transactions, because I know a lot of individuals like to follow what retail is doing, but there was some crazy transactions that did occur after hours. So looking right here, these are all the transactions that did occur on the secondary market above $100,000. 68.9 million. In one transaction, 10.8 million shares, 6.3, 6.3, 3.4, 3.18, 3.18. So definitely big money was getting in. Even on the dark pool, you have a lot of big transactions. And so right here, you have a $20.5 million transaction that was done 4 minutes after the bell, and then 7 minutes after the bell right here, 4.7. So big money was loading the boat up like crazy. And I cover quite a few different stocks, many different YouTube channels. And of course, sometimes you see some overlap. So right here is SoundHound. So if you actually look at the timestamps, it's very, very eerily similar. So right here, 15:07:54, 15:07:54. This one's 15:04:11, 15:04:16. So in general, most likely some institutions are starting to rotate back into equities. So that's definitely good. Very positive sign. Same kind of happened for SoFi, except SoFi always gets a lot more transactions, but still the same kind of time stamps are right here. So nonetheless, maybe there is some full optimism going into this upcoming week. Maybe Friday was the start of something very big, and maybe that there is a true Santa Claus rally actually starting. A couple of key points though with it at 636. It is smack dab in the middle between this S1 and this S2. So 620 and then 649 is going to be the next strong support and target. Aside from all of that fun stuff on the actual chart itself, not looking too great. It's not far done by any means, but it is right now below that 100 and also 10-day moving averages. So that's kind of a big deal for a lot of growth stocks. So as far as early on next week, watch for it to get above that 660. So that is going to be that 100-day moving average, and then 670 is going to be that 10-day moving average. So in general, just watch for it to get above that. But given how much it's been beaten down, stochastic RSI is extremely oversold. So that again could really work in its favor. Looking at the market position, you do see a little bit more willing buyers from Friday. So that's definitely something positive, but nonetheless, those are some kind of key elements to generally watch for. And from the flow right here, this was from Friday, you see a lot of algorithmic trading. So most likely that is going to continue into this upcoming week as well, but definitely good to see that institutions were loading the boat. So if you like to follow what big money is doing, you can always be ahead of the game, because unfortunately a lot of retail just have a weird mentality. So they like to look at 13Fs, for instance, and 13Fs, in case you don't know, they're all delayed. So someone submitting it now, or would have been over the last month, that was from like Q3. That was always delayed information by like a month and a half. So sometimes people see like a 13F and be like, hey, look, BlackRock's buying, I'm going to buy now. They've already long past purchased. So in general, this is why I like to kind of go over a lot of my data that I generally focus on, because it goes to show, unfortunately, it doesn't signal exactly who is buying, but clearly you can kind of piece together someone who has about 68.9 million kind of in disposable cash that they just want to throw at Opendoor. Like clearly that limits who is out there, right? So that most likely is a big name. And just given the purchase, you might see some kind of SEC form pop up soon. So let me know your general thoughts on Opendoor. Where do you see things going this upcoming week? Are you bullish, bearish? What's your overall viewpoint? In my opinion, I think we will be hugging this pivot point, possibly slightly above it, so between this R1 and the pivot. So that's kind of my price prediction. One final thing, if you're looking for some solid on-point buy signals on stocks, options, crypto, pop over to my Stacked account. I actually just made this recently, a couple weeks back. And yeah, I'm putting out a promotion just for this weekend. So normally it's around $55, lowering it down to $20. So if you get in, you will never be increased. Currently I have 100 members. So again, daily day trades, numerous swing trades, so worthwhile to kind of pop over there and check that out. Link in the description below and also the comments. Like I said, just this weekend alone. So hopefully everyone's having an amazing weekend, and with all that said, appreciate all of you watching.